Hello everyone, my name is Ian and you're watching Big Rock Moto. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Now, I firmly believe that if you want to become a better, more advanced, and also safer rider, the number one most important thing you can do is to get expert training. I was recently very fortunate enough to spend 2 full days riding my BMW GS around a racetrack at the Yamaha Champions Riding School. Now, without any exaggeration, I learned more and advanced my skills more in these 2 days than I did probably in the past 10 years of racking up miles out on the highway. Some people see photos and videos of riders in full leather racing suits and riding on a racetrack and think that the Yamaha Champions Riding School is a race school, but it isn't. It's a school where some of the best riders in the world teach you advanced motorcycle control to increase your safety and your confidence. The skills learned here can apply whether you're a track day or a sport rider looking to improve your lap times, or even if you're just a street rider, touring rider, or adventure or dual sport rider who wants to increase your street riding skills. They also really cater very well to newer riders. In the full-length documentary that follows, you're going to learn about the curriculum and methodology of the Yamaha Champions Riding School. And through watching this movie, you might even learn some skills that could save your own life. Of course, I would encourage you to check out the Yamaha Champions Riding School website, which I'll put here below. They also have a very affordable online version of this course that you can take from the comfort of your own home. Now with that, let's get riding, and I hope you enjoy the movie. All right, it's 7 a.m. in the morning and I'm headed over to the Las Vegas Speedway. I think I was supposed to be there at like 6:30 actually, but I kind of messed up the schedule. But anyway, it'll be fine. Everything is fine. You know, it's going to be, I think my biggest challenge today really, and tomorrow, is going to be, you know, trying to capture this event on camera, but also at the same time trying to learn, you know, what I need to learn and really absorb the information. I already know that's probably going to be my biggest challenge, is not to be too distracted by the filming. So I'll do my best with the filming, but I'm not going to film every little thing because I really do. This is really like a personal learning experience for me, and it's an intense course, and I really want to concentrate. So it's cold outside. It's 34 degrees, so I hope it warms up a little bit. Got my base layers on under my stuff here, ready to slip into my leather suit. Thank you, Revzilla, for the leather suit. So yeah, let's get over there and get started. Well, the wonderful people here helped me unload the GS out of the truck, which is a little scary, but they were awesome. They have breakfast for you, coffee, different things. Everyone's super nice, amazing customer service at the school. So it's a really high level experience, I think. So we're getting ready to do tech inspections, and we're going to start in about half an hour here. So I'm going to try to grab some footage.
Did you have to fly the plane? So you do the eye drops, it's like empty.
Let's take a look at the bikes we have here at the school. Let's see, R7, R7, R7. Good morning.
Good morning.
R7, R7. Okay, these are all, this is the R7 area. Here's some MT-07s. R3, that's fun. Keep going down here. Got some more MTs. There's a Tracer 9. Let's see. Sport bike, sport bike. Oh, I know that bike. I have that one at home. MT-09s, MT-09s, MT-10s. And then at the very end, there's this huge, what the heck is that?
How's everybody?
Good.
Great.
Start with saying how much we appreciate you being here. It means a lot to us. It's hard to run a school with no students. So it really means a lot to us. It means so much to us that this group here really only has one rule. What Chris, single rule that the instructors have.
That you guys get what you need. Call it rule number 5. We have a couple rules. Got to be nice to our bike. We're all going to go in the same direction. Good rule. You fall down, you got to pay for it.
Sure.
We have a couple rules.
Yeah.
I don't know them all yet.
Yeah.
But we know rule number 5 is you guys get what you need, right? And that is, if you need another 2-up lap, if you need to get led, if you want to be followed, you got to ask the question, right? Our biggest fail would be you leave here and go, man, I wish they had talked about that, or I wish they had done this. That would be an absolute fail for us. So rule number 5, you guys get what you need.
Chris, you could show up at this school a little bit nervous. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, you could. Anybody feel that? Anyone a little bit nervous? A little bit nervous showing up?
Yeah.
So here's how we fix this.
How do we do?
Yeah, turn to your neighbor and say, I don't care what you think about my riding.
I don't care what you think about my riding.
It's all about me. That's pretty good. It's not a bad way to just think about this stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll be darned. So what you're saying is the instructors are here to help
Yeah.
the students ride. That's exactly right. No U-Haul today. No U-Haul today. Good to see you. Come on in here. How about a 3-time world champion, Coach? How about that? Praise God.
Hey,
Hey, thank you.
what a beautiful day to be at the track,
It's
right?
fantastic.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
And Freddie started the school in 1997.
Yeah.
And hired a bunch of us, right, Dale?
Yes, sir.
Dale Keeper's here.
Oh, Dale.
How we doing, man?
Hey,
Hired a bunch of us to help him.
I didn't know Dale was going to be here.
That's good. So in 2008, when Freddie went on
Yes.
to bigger pastures, we took over and just got things rolling. So Freddie Spencer Riding School became Yamaha Champions Riding School. And Freddie, one of the things that we just introduced is how
Yes.
much, the reason the instructors are here to help them. But the second thing that you really focused on, and we have too, is you have to understand why you're making these inputs. You have to understand what inputs do to the bike, and that was a core technique.
Absolutely. First and foremost, when I was doing the initial program, was what is the biggest thing could help the average rider do? That would, or the techniques. Really, it's about understanding how the bike works. And so everything that you do needs to have a purpose. What do you think is the biggest mistake that most average riders make, you think? Over input. You grab, you're too tense, you too much brake, too much throttle, all these different things that you do that affect and confuse the motorcycle so it can't do its job.
Got to do. When I introduce this group, you'll realize this is a really qualified group. This group here, this is hand-picked, invitation only. It's not like, oh, dude, are you free next weekend? These are people that have been at the top for a long, long time. They go really quick, which is nice, but they don't throw the thing on the ground very often, right?
Plan.
That's right. Like that. So, this is of the road or the track and the bike. There's a 9-time world champion that said that. What he does is he kneels by his motorcycle literally every time before he gets on there. So if you're jumping on your bike without any forethought, you will forget new brake pads that don't stop, cold front tire, full tank of fuel. You'll forget who you're riding with, water across the free on-ramp because you're not there in the moment. So we're gonna push you in this first core champions habit to be in the moment and to have a mantra. And CP, a mantra, what's this?
Yeah, it's something to turn our brain on before we ever even turn that key on. I like this one. Close your face shield like this,
Okay.
and say, where am I, what am I doing?
Where am I? What am I doing?
Right before you hop on the bike, oh, I just stopped here for 5 minutes, my tires are cooling. Oh, there's some water coming across turn 4, right? All
CP.
Yeah, just trying to live with this, within this idea of grip, right? Grip is finite, tires only got so much grip, we gotta live within it. So we think about on a front tire, we think of it having 100 points of grip or 100% of grip that the tire has. On the front, we divide it by 2 things, brake pressure point and lean angle points. So if I have no lean angle points, tire straight up and down, I can build as much brake pressure as I need because I don't have any lean angle. But the moment I add a point of lean angle, I have to give away a point of brake pressure. Add 10 points, give away 10 points. It's called trail braking. It's the way that every single one of your bikes has been designed to ride. And Nick, will you roll that forward for me for a second?
Sure.
Yeah, just somewhere up there.
Like a man.
Like right there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, a little bit further. Right there. You guys are smart getting out of the way. Right, so Nick, when you go to the brakes, how many points of brakes are you grabbing there?
My classic 40.
Yeah? 40? So Nick's got this 40-point hand, 10 points for each finger?
Yeah.
Right, so he grabs a handful of brakes. Who's heard that on TV? Grab a handful of brakes. right? We hear the announcer say it. You know why they're the announcer? But what we're starting to think about is how we put these loads into this tire. So if I have that 40-point hand that Nick had, if I go to the brakes 40 points, 40 points, 40 points on a nice warm day in a sunny parking lot, there's no drama. But every time I lean the thing over past 60, all of a sudden I'm down before we know it, because I just didn't give that tire that moment. That 40-point hand doesn't work at the limit. What we're working towards is what works at the pointy end of the sport, right? So that 40-point hand, every time I lean over past 60, it's gonna have an issue. This tire can take actually a pretty tremendous load, but will not take an abrupt load at those same lean angles. So here's what we're really chasing in this whole sport is, it is the first and last 5% of everything that we're doing, right? We've all heard be smooth, you know, all these different things, but what we're really starting to think about is this first 5% of brake pressure. What we're thinking about is, what it really controls is the weight transfer of the motorcycle. First cycle, all of a sudden that tire's got a pretty good load into it. Now the corner's approaching, so I release the brake, so what's the fork do? Jumps back up. So once that fork extends, what happens to that contact patch of the tire? Gets a lot smaller. Now we're gonna ask that bike to steer into the corner, right? And that's why we have so many issues on corner entry, is because it really becomes this guessing game, right? I hope I guess the right speed as I turn off into this corner. The rider that could play with their brake pressure goes, I'll use as much brake pressure as I need, straight up and down. I start tipping in, they go, and all of a sudden the F350 comes into their lane. They're in a position to adjust. They could build 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12 more points of brake pressure, make it through the corner, because they didn't give up on their brakes somewhere back there and just kind of hope it would all work out. So first and last 5% is something we're definitely chasing. And Nick, where is the edge of grip? How do I know when I start getting there?
Well, we used to be able to...
How I do anything is how I do everything. So if I come out the laundry room or from the garage and slam the door, yeah, in my house you might have some feedback.
Conversation.
You might have some conversation. So when I go to the brakes, throttle on my motorcycle, I'm going to be more in tune to first 5%, last 5%, because all that matters. Remember, how I do anything is how I do everything.
And Roger, just to get you back to what the world champion just said, when he approaches the bike, as he gets on the bike, as he goes to the hand grips, he starts it correctly. Jumping on the bike aggressively and think you're going to be smooth into the first corner on a cold tire in your neighborhood will be very difficult. So we're going to really get our brains around this, because Nick, who designed this bike? Why do we teach this way? Who designed the bike? What are we chasing here?
People like that guy over there, Freddie Spencer. World champions, the best in the world, designed these motorcycles. So I know we see it on the forums, hey, I'm an expert here. The track day doctors, you know, with the 5-star ratings, sure, giving input about how to ride these motorcycles, but truly it's the best in the world, these engineers that designed this motorcycle. So the concept is simple, ride it like the best in the world. The degree of application may not be the same, but you're gonna ride to the edge, or approach how the best in the world ride these motorcycles.
Anybody good at that idea? Does anybody have any other? Do you think they called up your Uncle Bob, who's been riding for 2 years, and say, hey, Uncle Bob, what should our swing angle droop be here? What rake and trail numbers do you think we ought to have here? Little known fact, Harley Davidson has sent their engineers to our school for the last 16 years in a row.
But on the street, it's all about being able to do things, whether it's an area you can see in, or create a better opportunity for you to have to make adjustments if something you go. How many of you have gone across around a blind corner, you're committed to the speed and it tightens up on you, and you go across center line, right? Well, you're here today, which is excellent, right? Yeah. But if you know how to control the bike's direction at all times, and more importantly, how to correct your speed, even if you didn't make a mistake, but just because the environment changed, you didn't know it, how much better is that?
It's a game changer, isn't it?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. And most importantly, going back to what we said earlier and the guy started with, is that it puts you in a better position because you know you can do that. What do you think it allows you to be able to make better decisions? Because you're more relaxed, which allows the bike to change direction sooner. You're also better able to see it and think. When we get scared, when we're not sure what's going to happen, our vision narrows up and it happens right in front of us.
Lean angle, we're going to play with our speed to change our radius. Radius equals miles per hour.
Two things are going to stay the same: his lean angle and his throttle setting. That's gonna create his radius. Found a nice dirty spot for him, so that's good. So his lean angle and his throttle setting stay the same. This is mid-corner. This is called maintenance or neutral throttle. If his speed stays the same, what's his radius doing? It stays the same. So he's holding his radius. Accelerate! What happened to his radius?
Expanded.
Expanded, right? Opens up. The bike was designed to run wide under the throttle. Who's heard power through the corner? Who's heard off the brakes before you, or what else have we heard?
When in doubt.
When in doubt, throttle out. Who's heard that? Right? It rhymes, it's got to be true, but these are things that are out here. Nick, where is the #1 place riders are dying in America?
Running wide in corners. Y'all know that? #1 place we're dying. The most common crash is an intersection, failure to avoid a car in our path. The #1 place we're dying, running wide in the corner. So is that rider who died last weekend running wide in the corner accelerating too early or accelerating too late? Too early. Riders, pick the throttle up, weight goes back, you can start to accelerate, forks extend, bike's designed to run wide like Chris said. So this is not a mystery. Those of you that work in the industry, you wonder why we're not growing like we should be growing. People are taught to accelerate through the corner. It's still being taught. Accelerate through the corner. If the corner's not opening, we've got to be holding our speed. The corner tightening and reducing our speed. So Isaiah, if there was a truck there, he would have hit the truck because he was going to accelerate.
He would have been across the double yellow line. Right there, into the guardrail, whatever it was too early to open his radius in the corner. So let's have you get back in your circle.
Di Davis, Chris Paris, 8-time national heavyweight endurance champion. In the 8 years that they've won the championship, they've fallen off the bike twice. So anybody who thinks I'm going to show up here and take risks and go faster and crash more, everybody, we got some perfect examples that does not happen. 600 Supersport national AMA winner, 600 Superstock or 1000 Superstock podium finisher, two-time or won 125 national championships in 2 countries. Got hired to run World Supersport for 2 years. That's Chris Paris. He's president of our company, one of the owners. #3 plate holder in AMA.
Cycle is the bike has to get direction to be able to truly accelerate off the corner. So on every apex, and apex is simply the point where you're closest to the inside of the curbing, there's going to be 2 cones. Our goal, our report card is being parallel with those 2 cones, means bike's heading a pretty good direction. So how's the R1 doing? Pretty good, right? Right up against the curbing. They're really essentially trying to make the largest radius within the track limits, right? So every time they miss here, if I want it somewhere out there on the entry, want to be somewhere out there on the exit, every time I miss this apex, my radius is actually getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. So everything that happens back there on corner entry only serves to get the bike here in a position to exit. That's all corner entry is for, is to get our bike here, because what you'll find out what really matters in this sport is corner exits. Corner exits. So we're gonna take our time, get the bike in, slowed, pointed. This bike's got directions, doing things pretty well. How's this bike doing? Not great. This is how every crash in my life started, right? We call this rushing the corner entry, right there, right there, right? They came in with so much entry speed, they could not get the bike to the apex. Mile an hour was way too quick. Now they're heading out towards the gravel, whatever it might be, because they just misjudged their entry speed.
And they've heard always accelerate past the apex.
Yeah.
So they pick their throttle up and accelerate. Accelerate motorcycle does what to the radius? It opens. See, now the bike's running wider. Why don't I just add lean angle?
Go ahead, right? Dale said it earlier. Lean angle's not infinite. You know, we like to think lean angle equals risk in our books. Try to run as least amount of risk as possible. If you're adding acceleration and lean angle, you should get a pretty big chill up your spine, realizing that we're going to exceed over the grip level in a timely fashion, sooner than later.
So they're adding lean angle points and they're adding throttle points. At this point, riders, at this point, we've missed the apex. We've rushed the corner in. CP, what's the control to be on?
Yeah, realizing that we didn't get our bike there, the bike needs to continue to slow. So you're gonna actually stay with the brakes. You're actually gonna have to stay with the brakes even longer than this bike, because now we're trying to get things fixed because we misjudged our speed. So somewhere down in there, right? Nick starts getting parallel with the cones. Is that perfect? No, absolutely not. But he is in a position to continue his ride, right? He did not just go, I heard that bike in front of me accelerate, I better accelerate. He realized I was in maybe a little bit too quick. I couldn't get the bike down to the curbing, but if I continue to slow my motorcycle, my radius will tighten. At that point, he's got direction. He could safely start to accelerate.
So keep slowing. I got to get the apex, right, Chris?
Yeah, so here's he's going to start to run into a problem. He's thinking we accelerate once we have exit direction. Nick thinks he's got to get every apex, so I don't even see Nick all the way out there, right? He's in no man's land. I'm on my apex. My corner is actually opening a little bit. I start to accelerate. I'm accelerating, and here comes Nick out of my peripheral, coming down in front of me. So the rider that's going to be a lot closer to the second than the first cone is coming across the path of travel of the faster rider. The faster rider's working as hard as they can to get our bike here where they can accelerate, and then all of a sudden Nick's kind of doing something unpredictable. Who's never been to a racetrack before? A couple of us. This is the safest place we could be because everyone knows what we're doing, right? Means you actually got your speed judged really well on entry. If you could get your bike here, you are going to be phenomenal at this sport because you understand how this works. Bike's got to get direction before we could really actually do anything with it. We ride our bikes based on direction. What we're really trying to chase, it's easy to come in this. If any of you guys have watched professional road racing, MotoGP, the rider that wins typically from their fastest lap to the slowest lap of their race is a couple tenths, half second maybe, right? And it's easy to think, you know, brand new tires, full tank of fuel to no fuel, tires are bald at the end, right? It's easy to think, well, they're that consistent because they're doing everything the exact same every lap. They're getting into the brakes right there. They're turning in at that crack in the pavement. Yeah.
I'm sorry, which one?
Yeah, so you go to the brake at the third piece of gravel.
Wait, what? What am I supposed to do?
And then you turn in at the shadow. Turn in at the shadow, that one helps. And then right, and it's easy to think I've got to do this riding by rote thing, but here's what we think is we ride our bike based on direction. Where did the bike get pointed in the corner? If we come in, we realize, hey, I actually have exit direction. I'm parallel with my cones right here. My knee's over the curb. I could safely accelerate from this point.
So you'll be accelerating your bike. Yep. This rider has to keep slowing their bike because they don't have direction yet.
So Nick's slowing.
Let it turn.
Right?
Let it turn.
And eventually, okay, now Nick's starting to get parallel with his cones. Now Nick's in a position to accelerate. Whose straightaway is longer, mine or Nick's? Mine. Right, because of how I approach that corner entry. I was gonna get direction. Once we have exit direction, we can accelerate. And Nick, we're not gonna ride by rote. When do we go to the brakes?
Everybody, we go to the brakes when we're nervous. We'll see Isaiah do that. Well, when we go to the brakes, we go nervous. As he gets his tires warm up, he'll come into the corner faster and faster. He'll get nervous earlier because he knows his bike has to be to a certain speed at that lean angle. So go to the brakes when you're nervous. When do we go to the brakes?
Nervous.
When we're nervous. And riders, this is a great way to put it. Rather than think I go to the brakes at the 3 board, if you got an R3, you might go to the brakes at the 1 board later. It's so slow. On hot tires, you might go to the brakes past the 1 board because the bike is slow and you got good grip. So go to the brakes when you're nervous, and that will help so many of you that are nervous. Roll off and go to the brakes. Yes. We aren't running wide in the corner because we're going too slow in the corner. You go into the corner too slow, next lap you remember, next Sunday you remember, the corner's more open. Let's watch a good pass through here. He's nervous. Use the brakes after you spin direction. Neutral, and accelerate. Can you all hear that?
This is, I imagine. So we go to Yamaha Champions School and we're riding around the course in vans.
So who's done track stuff? Who hasn't? First time here, first time not?
First time here, first time track stuff. Same.
Yeah, I've never been on a track.
Nice. Are you riding today too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm riding for sure.
I didn't know if you're here doing video stuff. You
Both,
said you were here with the
I'm here with the YouTube channel, so they invited me out, or you guys did, which was awesome, and documenting it. But yeah, I'm here to learn mostly. The challenge for me is trying to balance learning with paying attention to cameras and stuff, because I want to learn all this stuff because I want to start riding track. And and be a safer street rider, but I'm also trying to manage my cameras too.
And that's going to be the toughest thing, because you need the whole focus into your riding, because there's going to be so much stuff, and you know, even setting the camera down and kind of just letting it more on like a time lapse.
Yes, exactly.
Collecting everything, you know, it's for you to get everything that you need, because it's when we take our focus away from what this racetrack has to offer and continually being able to visualize what we did last time and find a way to make it better this time, you know, or the next time, is going to be the biggest thing to focus on. So it really gets hard when we have a lot of outside stuff, right? Because you'll come in here, you'll release the brakes back there, and you're like, oh, well, now I need to focus on releasing my brakes closer to this spot to create these nice straightaways, looking for the outside part of the racetrack to accelerate up and out to, and reduce lean angle under acceleration, and just continuing to refine the skills. We have 2 days of riding and learning, and you have to be able to take all the information with you for later on. So it's as much information as you can collect now and revisit it later is going to help, because we're hitting you with all the information. This isn't a multi-step graduate school. This is everything that we need to focus on, that are our core principal things that really matter most to us. So really kind of just being able to feed our brain which control we need to be in. And now we're going down into turn 1. This is the front stretch here, just thinking about realizing that turn 1 kind of goes back towards the right but really finishes left, and kind of just maximizing radius at all times. It's being as wide as we can on some of these corner entries, maximizing the racetrack down in, looking for where our apex is, and got to set up some of these cones because the tractor blew it off. But you know, when we don't have lines or cones on the track, we physically have to start making straightaway lines. We're looking down from this apex curve down towards that apex curve, getting these nice straight lines, having the plan to accelerate. 4, 3, 2, 1. I got direction here, so I'm looking for the outside part of the racetrack. Boom, eyes are up out towards it. I'm accelerating up out towards that. One fluent motion from side to side, getting ready for, you know, finishing left. Boom, body set up for the right, even before corner entry. Still slowing, looking, how am I doing towards my apex? Where's my direction change? Looking out towards for the exit. Boom, I got a nice little straightaway in here. Nice smooth transition from side to side.
Right, what we're doing is we're actually building a foundation where now all of our weight can actually drive down into that inside foot peg. But we don't call it the inside foot peg, we call it the inside axis of the gyro. If you think about it, the wheels are spinning, pistons are spinning, crank is spinning. The bike has a lot of rotating mass, but if you put weight on the inside of the gyro turns, right? So that's essentially what he's gonna do down in that foot peg. Hunter, walk me through kind of what you're doing with your feet.
So yeah, for sure. You know, we're doing that in, I can't speak this morning. You know, the inner axis of the gyro, right? We're putting our feet down here. We don't want our toes to be forward because it doesn't open up our hip, right? You know, we just tried it. We put both, you know, it's hard to go. But as soon as we point that toe, kind of get this, what's it called again,
Yeah,
Chris?
we call it the triangle of light.
See, yeah.
We want to be able to see light between the frame of the motorcycle and that inside leg. Point your toes forward.
Yep.
Point your toes forward.
Oh.
Yeah, then the knee is in. If the knee is in, he will not feel comfortable moving his upper body because he doesn't have that foundation set. So he's up on the balls of his feet. Again, his ankles kind of flex forward and really engage. So that way when he moves his body, the weight drives down into that foot peg. If he's kind of relaxed, it's gonna be take just more time for that weight to transfer down into that foot peg. So he's getting that kind of set. Hunter, where are you sitting on the fuel tank? Are you right up against the fuel tank?
No, because as soon as I get up on the fuel tank, I can't get the weight into that inside axis, you know. I have to almost about a fist distance, you know. I don't want to sit too far back because then I feel like I'm on the back of the donkey, you know. So get up about,
oh, that.
Yeah, that's bad. So about a fist distance, you know, fist distance over, so it's easy to get my weight onto that so I don't get caught up by the fuel tank.
All right. And when do we sit in the center of the seat?
For this instance, never sit in the center of the seat, you know, always one side or the other. It's one less thing to think about when we go in brake zones. You know, when we go in, if there's 2 lefts back to back, stay in on that side. One less thing to think about. You know, if we have to get back to the middle, sometimes we move our butt, sometimes we don't, and then it's really hard to get in that right body position. So just stay on the inside of the seat.
Right, so he's gonna have his butt cheek. If you got 2 lefts in a row, he leaves his body. 3 lefts, leaves his body. So get your foot on there. He can move his upper body, turns in the corner, does his thing, but when he tucks back in, he leaves that butt over. Hunter, what are we really saying? When do we go back to the center of the seat?
Never.
Right? Okay, big long straightaways, you'll see in GP, they'll go back to the center of the seat, but the process is they'll be tucked in, the butt moves before we enter a brake zone, right? So this racetrack specifically, none of the straightaways are that long. Almost everywhere you're almost on the side of the tire or getting ready for the next corner. So you probably, even if they had what's bothering us? It's gonna feel awkward as hell. If you're not used to this, it is gonna feel foreign, it's gonna feel uncomfortable, but stick with it. If you gotta bring pace down to get things starting to feel right, it'll make things a lot better.
It is the foundation.
Ian, question?
Yeah, I'm one of the few people here probably like on an adventure bike, which is more upright. Are all these basics still kind of the same, basically?
Yep, yeah,
Okay.
and we talked about it at the other group.
Yep.
Hunter also works at
American Super Camp.
as well, so does a lot of the dirt stuff as well.
Yeah.
Hunter, what's the difference dirt to street? And if you're thinking adventure riding on the street, then all this stuff applies.
Right,
Weight to
right.
the inside is what lets that gyro steer, but what are you thinking about on the dirt side?
So on the dirt, it's all, the body positions all due to grip. We have, 100 points of grip, a little bit dirt like this, gravel, stuff like that. I'm not gonna be hanging off the inside of my bike. I wanna be more up on top of it, a little bit more, kind of putting that load into the tires when there's no...
Right, he's trying to put that weight down into that tire. If he's hung off this way, all of a sudden he's gonna push the rear of the bike that direction, so the thing wants to start spinning.
Yeah.
He gets up on top of it to drive that load path down into the ground because he's actually trying to get the thing to steer. When we get out on the street track, we got a lot more grip. Right?
Yeah.
Grip is no longer really the issue. So then it becomes, I actually need this thing to steer quicker at this pace. So that requires more body, more weight on the inside axis of the gyro or the foot peg, and that's what allows it to steer. So it just really depends kind of on the environment. When the grip is, relatively low and gravel, weight to the inside is gonna make it spin this way, so we get on top of it. On the street, the more we could stand it up, we could roll through with less risk or more pace.
But even due to the grip, we're still weighting the pegs. Everything stays kind of below the hip so the bike can move a little bit more. Building that, we still got to build the foundation depending on the grip. It's all like low traction scenario. I'm going to be on top of it a little bit more with my body, but my lower body, I'm still putting weight in this outside leg to help. Okay, I got a little, kind of building that foundation to keep the load in the tires. If I don't weight the pegs, the thing, any little bump's just going to unload it.
Let's do this. Let's hop in.
Whatever he's doing. So, next group. This will be next group. Let's go into the classroom. Grab a notebook on the way in. Put your name on it. Let's go in the classroom. Or bathroom, whatever you got to do. Try to have a plan. Let's pop open our notebook now to a note page. And riders, we're going to just jot down some of the information that just got fire hosed at you. And let's start with eyes up sooner and scan back. Eyes up sooner and scan back. So we're going to take a look at our future and bring it back to our present. Eyes up, future, and scan.
Huge deal to never have front brake on and throttle low. A lot of us can unknowingly have this. It's a world superbike rider who race, and in the data, there's slight overlap, and you could say almost. The braking, all those little adjustments, the braking, it shuts, and then that neutral throttle happens. But making sure dexterity-wise that the way our hand goes to the grip, that we're feeling that throttle jump close and not be able to shut anymore, right, as we're going to the brakes.
And this, what are those? Why are those? What are we thinking about those?
Right, the first 5 and last 5% of our braking. So no matter what corner we're in, how hard we're braking, whatever we're doing, we're gonna have a smooth first 5, now it's loaded, then we'll build the pressure to whatever we need, and the firmer brake pressure is gonna be earlier in the braking zone, right? We don't want this light, and then whoa, more and more progressively. No, we're gonna get first 5, it's there, it's loaded, then we can really build pressure. And then we're building that pressure however much we need. We're starting to trail off. Right there's our tip in, giving some break off before we tip in, and then all those little adjustments. And is that because the pen's heavy? Is your hands, yeah? No, it's every little, all right, I'm looking in, okay, I'm going too slow. I can let up some brake pressure. Oh, I need a little bit more. Okay, this, now I'm gonna hold. And then that last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So in my van, I'm talking about how you're feeling the brakes come on because there's so much weight and inertia, but the brake release, you don't feel the brake release.
All right, I can't believe we're doing this. First lap on a racetrack in my whole life. This is crazy. The thing is, with this school, they make everything so friendly because they split you into different groups based on your experience level. This is so much fun. It's awesome because there's no traffic to worry about and the road surface is so smooth. This is awesome. Oh my god. I don't know if I'm supposed to be having fun or trying to learn. I guess both. One of the fundamentals of this course is trail braking, because that's how the chassis, you control your steering geometry, you control your corner entry, and you get load on the front tire. Of course, there's body positioning, there's shifting, there's, you know, riding a motorcycle is so complicated, but we don't think about it on a day-to-day basis, I guess. But the great thing about these schools is that they force you to think about all these things and get better and get safer. See, we're not going fast. I'd be going faster than this on the street through this kind of corner, right? So you don't have to be scared that, oh, it's a scary racetrack. I'm able to talk and narrate this video while we're going around this track, so you should not be scared to come out and do something like this. It's a controlled environment. That's what makes it safe. And these instructors are absolutely amazing.
Yep. Just say right. Good.
Right.
Come on in, everybody. Next group. Here we go.
Well, how do we feel? How about relaxed?
Yeah.
Did you pay attention to
Okay, not there yet.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it's understandable, right? We'll say things that are pretty straightforward. You can imagine when I was initially putting together the school, my first thought is the complexity of it. The reality is basically when you do it right, it's pretty straightforward, right? You simplify your inputs and understand the proper inputs are at the right time. So I'm gonna say this, is that if this is a corner, right? That's the middle of the corner. That's the point I want to be the slowest. Where am I controlling the bike's direction and the speed and everything? Is there any part of this corner where I'm not in charge of that? It's a problem if there was. Well, it is a problem, but it's how most people ride, right?
Yeah, I'd agree.
Well, the thing is, I would show people when I ride students. I started doing that about 5 years ago. Yeah. And I did it for the last 7 years. I rode every student at least one lap, and most times once a day. And the question I would always get asked is that, well, why am I going fast enough to have to brake? And I said, so I would say, okay, we're going to go 25 miles an hour, and I'm going to brake in every corner.
To go about this school. All right, comfort / fun. Look to the right. See the blank for comfort and then the slash for fun. Comfort and fun, those two will chase each other. That number will chase each other. 1 means you're not comfortable and you're not having fun. 10 means I'm comfortable and I'm having fun. And those two numbers will talk about it. So give yourself a 1 to 10 score on comfort and fun. You're going to be third now. Third!
Yeehaw! I'm in love. I'm in love. This is life-changing. Oh my god, the track is amazing. Where has this been my whole life? Okay, now I don't know why, but he asked me to ride directly behind him, so this is going to be fun. Or maybe he just wants to see my riding so he can critique me, tell me how bad I am. I think that's probably what it is. So much fun.
Yes, really, really nice job. You can see.
So much fun.
Yes, really, really nice job. You can see on that last lap when we cut off, that when you missed that second apex, that late apex in the long sweeper, how you had to hold the throttle, you couldn't accelerate.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect lesson for you to realize, man, when I miss apex, I can't drive the bike off the corner.
Yes.
Much less go across the center and all the other folks did, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good lesson because you're actually going very, very well. You look very comfortable. Where's the comfort level as we went quicker? How did it go?
It was good.
Good.
It was
That's
good.
Good.
I feel like I was, you know, maybe at like 7/10 or something.
Perfect. And the
Yeah, exactly. And it's a confidence thing. I know, you know, everything. It was what I did. And so, you know, understanding the difference again between being hesitant and.
If you're not covering the brakes, that will be awkward for you. But he was covering the brakes. It was very smooth. He's right there. If you're not covering the brakes, you'll be a half a second late. Which will only be 3 or 4 feet, but you'll stab it when you get to it because you'll be embarrassed you didn't stop when I said stop. So come in, you gotta smooth things out. Come on. Brake is the component to master, everybody. That's what we're chasing. We want to master the brakes. Say it out loud. I want to master the brakes.
Master the brakes.
I want to master brake.
I want to master brake.
I like the master braking. I like the master braking. Okay, good.
Question about master brake.
Yes, please.
Do it alone.
So you're like
So now we're headed out to do the braking drills. We had lunch, did some more lessons. All right, back on the track after lunch. It's definitely one of the most impactful things I've ever done in my motorcycling. No, I think this is the most impactful thing I've ever done in my motorcycling career. Putting yourself in a situation you wouldn't normally do, you know, getting out of your comfort zone. You learn so much if you just have an open mind.
Ready?
Yeah, so we can go as fast as we're comfortable with.
As fast as you're comfortable with, and with as much brake pressure as you're comfortable with, right?
Okay.
So the whole goal is to get to max brake pressure, right?
Okay.
And if you go into TC, don't worry about it. If you go past the instructors a little bit, don't worry about it. The whole point of this drill is to see where your brake limits are.
Okay.
All right?
Good job, good first run, Ian. You realize you could have stopped your bike back there.
I could have like come almost right here.
Right, and
I know.
and what you realize is when you initiate brakes smoothly, your brain stays calm.
Yeah.
And that's what happened back there. You didn't hit so smoothly, your brain stayed calm, and you just kept playing. Oh, I've overslowed. Most riders have grabbed the brake lever, their brain freaks out, and everything seems too fast. So next time, accelerate longer, go to the brakes a little bit later, nice and smooth, and then build that pressure again.
Okay.
I'd like to, does this have auto blip, auto shift?
Yes.
Auto shift?
Yes.
Okay. Wait. Learn to ride with your fingers up. This is you in traffic all your life, okay? Just like that. Yep, just like that. Like that. Good job. Cody, what do you got? And then we'll go on to our couple little things.
Yeah, just Nick and I being on that backstretch, truly trying to see the maximum capabilities of how well our bike can stop. And I think a lot of us got closer and closer to feeling that. Anyone feel ABS in the lever or rear tire wanting to come off the ground a little bit? It was on the Aprilia. Okay, yeah. So we're getting to that brake pressure. It was good. Yeah. On the racetrack, how often we're at that max brake pressure is very little, if at all. You know, especially these flowing tracks. Here there is some hard braking where you may get closer to that, and it's good to know what it's like, you know, in a practice environment to now be able to apply them on the track. So what I saw a few times was first 5 usually pretty good because we're getting better and better. I've wanted to make sure that we're going to the lever smooth, making sure we're not closing and then reaching for the brake, which I saw a few times because you can see that bike get neutral and then nothing's loaded and it's covering distance and then the brakes come on. So calm down corner entry by going straight to that lever. So we saw this here, all right, light brakes, all right, I'm starting to build some pressure, I'm starting to build some, whoa, there's Cody. Right, and seeing this progressive more and more and more, and then at that stop, you're seeing that big kind of rebound. So this kind of comes from the street, I think, of a habit where we go to the brakes gentle, maybe we got a passenger on the back, we get closer and closer to that stop sign, and then we build pressure and the thing kind of unloads. You know, on the street, it's fine, but I would like us to practice this every time we come to a stop, of having that same smooth first 5, but now it's loaded, let's build that pressure, and then we're in a position where we can start easing off and trailing off and trailing off. And at that last 5, that's that consistent chauffeur stop.
It gets back to what I hope you're hearing. This sport is about processes, isn't it? It's about processes. So you roll off the brake lever like this. Dimitri, you were doing that. I didn't correct you out there because we were so busy. So now all of a sudden when you blip, you pull the front brake back with you and the bike bounces. Yeah. So if you've tried this before, like I can't do it, no, you can do it, right? Roll off to the tips of your fingers. Now when you blip, that arch in the fingers gives, and you can flip that throttle. So let's do it together. On the brakes, 1, clutch, third foot, blip, clutch back out, clutch, foot, blip, clutch back out again. How quick is the blip, Cody? What's happening with it?
Just know. What is the biggest mistake most riders make? Whole hand clutch all the way to the brake to the car.
Should we go show it?
Yeah, exactly. To match them, they almost need to be similar movements, don't they? Right? Where it's just enough to engage the clutch and let it out. If you do this, it's really more difficult. It's the little thing that makes a difference. 2 fingers too, huh?
Yeah, good. We'll go show this to you in just a second.
Accelerate away, don't use the throttle, just be smooth with the clutch.
Okay.
And keep both your feet out in case, you don't get it correct.
Okay.
But just slowly let it go. Be as slow as you can with it and try to feel how it just accelerates away without using the throttle. Right? And that's how smooth you want to be releasing.
feet of water.
No, to feel like that. And
Was it scary?
Very stable.
Okay, was it scary or informative?
Thank you. I didn't think it was scary, but I did scream. But
That's good.
that's just girls.
And what reason I asked TJ is because she was having trouble with acceleration today. She's having trouble with overslowing a corner entry. Anybody else? Right, so that we're realizing, oh, I got to go back with this expert.
Wagon trees and
No, focus. Exactly. He was doing a little skit. He was acting. Lack of focus. Write it down, please. Lack of focus. You're not here mentally. You were in the van with instructor driving. You weren't paying attention where the van went. You followed the instructor for 2 sessions. You didn't pay attention where the instructor went. That's the focus. That's the focus. You're coming up the front straightaway and your mind's not on turn 1. Everybody? Lack of focus. Loss of focus. Number 2 reason we crash a motorcycle. Nick.
Ooh, I would say abruptness.
Talk about that.
Well, basically, I'm going into a corner and my nose, the nose of the bike is diving, and I'm hopping off the brakes. It's bouncing back up on me. So we got to be really smooth with our inputs, being really conscious of what we're doing, and the kind of inputs that we give the motorcycle makes all the difference in the world. One of the students got off a 2-up bike, and I said, "What'd you notice?" He's like, "Well, I just barely felt anything." So he didn't feel when the instructor was going to the brakes or coming off the brakes.
Put in there, eyes late equals abruptness. We're gonna keep and is anyone totally peaked? Like they don't want to go any faster? Right, so we're gonna go quicker. We're gonna see things, we're gonna need to see things sooner because we'll have less time to react. So
Physical limitation or what?
I don't know.
But if you're ready for a 2-up, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let me make sure my GoPro's running here.
Well, it looks on.
Oh yeah, see, but it's recording. So I just hold on to this.
Yep.
Let me find the pegs here. I've never ridden passenger, so.
Alright. So, I can already tell you're a little tense, a little tight, right? The only time we really need to be tense or tight is when we're holding on under acceleration or bracing ourselves for braking.
Okay.
Right? When we're going into the corner, we'll start relaxing, easing up, turning our hands and bringing our head towards the inside.
Holy shit.
You saw when I started leaning on your arm, right? That one time that you relaxed in this back corner, all of a sudden the thing started steering for you, right? That's how important it is to really get our body in play, you know, to off-center the center of the motorcycle. That's why you kept feeling me lean up there.
Yeah.
Once we got the weight towards off the inside, the thing wants to steer. You know, the pace was limited due to the movement allowed and where the weight was. So that just deemed us having to slow more, right? And control our exits sooner. So it's getting the idea of letting the body keep all that weight loaded or all that speed working that you work so hard for. Not trying to slow down as much, but still also get direction. You know, letting all this stuff flow a little bit more, not so rigid. It's like once you finally started getting in there, boom, the bike wants to start working a little bit better for us. So some fluency and breathing, right?
Yeah.
And breathing, just getting our eyes up to where we want to go, not being so shocked by some stuff. So.
Yeah, at first my stupid camera was catching your in the hump, and I should have taken this off, but you know, after I figured that out, I was...
Do another one.
No, it's okay. That was good though. I mean, that was good. That was really good. You know.
I'm not just gonna go straight to it and then around it, but I'm gonna look for the biggest straight line. So maybe now. Just see how. Maybe I see that one late. Okay, I'm gonna open this up. Here's this straight line. My firing shot, kind of a launching point, is to find the straightest line in between them. If I'm in a little bit lower,
Right, so I'm gonna be a little bit slower.
Okay, so now we're headed out, one of the last sections of the day. What they do is these mini drills, so you focus on one skill at a time. It's super useful because your brain can then say, okay, I'm working on better trail braking this time, or I have to corner right by this cone, or on this lap I'm using a whole racetrack, stuff like that. So the way that the course, these darn jets, it's all day like this, these jets. It's right next to Nellis Air Force Base. So pretty crazy. I gotta go, I'm late. So in this drill, what we're doing is we have to, you see these cones like right here? We're supposed to go on the inside of the pointy end. So we don't know where they are. This simulates a hazard in the road, right? So I can see a cone up there already. So I'm thinking, okay, how am I gonna line up to get this done? I've got to go inside of that. And then here, you got to go outside of that one because there's gravel or there's a deer or whatever. That's what this is simulating. So it's a great way to sort of trick your brain into learning better bike positioning and bike control. And of course, you can start going faster. We're going kind of slow right now. Start going faster, it's going to be harder, right? Because, okay, now I got to go over here.
See the second one. I was originally about to commit, and then I kind of just did it, thinking I was gonna go late, and now I was going wide, so I thought I had to tighten up again, and that's the second time around. I just slipped out.
Remember, pressure plus lean angle. You know, so you have one of those quickly. You're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So your bike seems okay too. So the feet punch right there. That hairpin's now got 2 riders, right? So let's think about that hairpin. It's a slow turn. What does Freddie Spencer say we do in slow turns? Go slow. So by trying to make it into something it's not, trying to get it fast or make it into a corner like the hairpin, that's the sweeper. If you're 1% better than everybody else in the sweeper, it's going to be 100 feet advantage. If you're 1% better than everybody in the hairpin, it's going to be 3 feet advantage. So to push in those slow turns, that's not what time waits you. And now.
This is my last lap of the evening, the sun's setting. This has been one of the most incredible days of my life, truly. Now I'm narrating, I can't focus on what I'm doing. It takes 100% of your mental focus to get this right, to get these apexes, to get your body position right, your shifting right. Don't go too slow, don't go too fast. Practice your trail braking. There's so much going on here. One thing I've learned is that brake way later than you think you need to. Oh, blind, there we go. Okay, now I can see. Pin it! Try to hit the apex, power it out. Get that weight shifted out. It's amazing the difference that the body position makes. I missed the apex kind of on this one. Got in too early. Punch it. This is a tricky little set of corners here. On this quarter, what I've been learning is brake way late, brake, okay, brake now, and then hit the apex here. Wow, this has been, I'm just so emotional right now. Oh my God, these are some of the best riders in the world, right? I mean, this class is so far beyond my expectations. I can't even gather all my thoughts right now. But the improvement in confidence and bike control is amazing. And these coaches are just beyond incredible. All right, well, now we get to go to dinner, change out of our leathers. The reason that we wear one-piece leathers is because, you know, if you go sliding at 100 miles an hour on concrete, you'd rather be in a one-piece leather so you don't have the abrasion issue. So they basically require it, but they said you could wear a two-piece textile suit if you wanted. It's just they don't recommend it. But I'm much more confident wearing a one-piece leather.
So let's really dig in. This is what you paid for. You paid to get the complete deal, and this film is where we really start to learn. So pay attention, listen to what we say. Let's get this stuff dialed. Whose camera, CP?
This is mine.
All right. How'd Ryder do?
Did good.
Good. Let's take a look.
Yeah, center of the camera. That's really what we're looking for. Good. Brakes on. I thought our brakes were on relatively early, and then we get back into them. So just realize we could hold our speed longer, make that into one brake zone. And Ryder, you're doing a lot of stuff really well. Might just pause a little further here. Hold on. So in the corners where we see his knee doesn't get down, we start to realize that if we've got warm tires in Grand Prix body position like he's got right now, his knee will touch before he loses grip. Ryder, when I ride behind you, I feel like we just have more load available to us. There's more braking force, more accelerating force, more...
It doesn't take much. Ian. All right. Riding really well this morning. First time on the racetrack. Really got some talent and adapted right away. So, again, another rider that we told a couple things to and they started really gelling. So let's take a look and see how he does on film lap. Nice line.
Ian runs a really good lap. Some of the timing of things could be just kind of like here as well. A little bit early of a turn-in down into 2 will help, but the fundamentals of riding the bike do a great job of respecting and having the discipline of neutral throttle to not run wide.
A little bit late there, a little bit late, and you can see that late turn-in has you hold lean angle, and now you're a little bit low there. So let's really get that early turn-in to 3. And again, we know your eyes weren't up there, Ian, because you didn't see that exit soon enough. Held lean angle too long. Held lean angle too long. And let's freeze him somewhere, CP, because I wanted Ian to play with his body position. Even though he's on a dual sport adventure bike, we can use that upper body. And Ian, I'd like to see a little more upper body head drop if possible. Okay. And can Ian go through the sweeper behind us faster, yes or no? Yes. How do you know? More radius left over, right? And we put a great big cone out there so you can see it as early as possible. So Ian, we don't really care if you go faster, but if Ian wants to go faster at the same exact risk, he can go faster. He's got racetrack left over. That's how we think about it.
If nothing else, I'd run less lean angle.
Some detail that we'll like, oh, that's why the instructor film bike was here. That's why they said the student was in the wrong spot. Those are the reasons, and this will really help build things in. And we'll walk through these things with you this morning. So, something are we all ready to go?
I think so.
Yeah, you all ready to go? Questions? Anything bugging anybody before we get rolling? Yeah, good. So we'll start with something we alluded to last night, and that is slowest point. Slowest point. So let's write that in our notes.
There's something, right? Like, there's got to be something doing. We just said, I find the slowest point with each corner. I get to it as quick as I can, respect it, and get away from it as quick as I can. We saw this almost every single lap, blue line, in, what is it, 4?
3. I count it 3.
3?
Yeah.
In turn 3, down in here, we saw everyone run that blue line.
Yeah.
So I want to push a little bit. I want to be aware, but so it's.
Paul, I appreciate that politeness, but remember, riders, it's the faster rider's job to get by you safely. Yeah. Right? They'll come up, they'll catch you, they'll see what you're doing, they'll see as you track out, they go away from you, they'll pass you there. We'll talk about passing very, very clearly before we get the whole group together. So try to do your very, very best to put that behind you. Notice we took the mirrors off your bikes. We turned your mirrors down, took them off because you're just thinking about what's forward. So as a street rider and coming where you came from, I can see that, but put that behind you here. What else? What else is bugging you? What else is like, man, I'm not comfortable with this? Downshifting. Downshifting. Okay, yeah. Remember, it is on the brakes first because you're nervous. The clutch comes in, the foot moves. Now the bike's in the lower gear. All we're adding is a short rev, and that is, whoom, clutch comes out, right? And you may not perfect it today, but in a week's time of playing with it, riding to work, you'll have it. You'll laugh that you thought about it was tough. You can see how automatic it is for the instructors, right? On the back of the bike. The bike got downshifted from 5th to 2nd, for the hairpin back there, turn 5, 5th to 2nd, but you probably didn't even feel it. You could just hear it, boom, 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 because we practiced it. Before the clutch comes out in the new gear, give it a short rev, and when you have an auto blipper, anybody have an auto blipper?
Yeah.
It's an auto blipper because the engineers know that if you don't blip, you're wearing out your clutch. If you don't blip that throttle, the back end could lock up slightly. So that's why they have an auto blipper on them.
Carrying some speed in, brake pressure, looking up to the corner, just have to go to neutral throttle. Looking ahead for that apex, looking ahead, being patient right here, waiting, making that straight line. There's our launching point. Seeing how we just go curb to curb.
All right, we're just getting ready to go out on the track for day 2, and I've had a lot of time to reflect sort of on what's happening, and you really have to be open-minded and be humble. So I think what I was doing, and the instructors kind of were showing this in video and through their feedback and talking to them, is that I'm trying to rush, I'm trying to go fast for some whatever reason that is, but in trying to go fast, I'm actually not going fast because I'm missing apexes and not quite hitting things in the right way, not quite listening to their advice close enough about control the bike by direction and, you know, where's the slowest point in the corner and body position and all that. So my goal for today is to slow down, focus more, and then slowly build up speed later once I start getting those details right. So we'll see if it works. All right, first lap of the day.
Developed over years. They're so dialed in. If you heard that today, your scores are lower. You're like, man, I saw Cody Wyman drop his head. I'm not dropping my head like that. Long-time motor journalist, friend of mine. I told Art she was unhappy with her riding, and I said, and Arthur was concerned about that. I said, no, that's a successful person. If you're just skipping down the road thinking this is okay and this is okay, and gosh, isn't this great? Those people make me nervous. I'm like, come here, we gotta talk. This is not okay. It's not gonna be okay as we go quicker. So if you've been unhappy with what you're doing, that's all right. That's all right. Be a little upset about things. And God, we don't really learn much when we win. It's fair to say?
Yes. Adversity is an interesting tool. I was one of those racers new to the sport that was afraid of falling down. So I'm not going to maximize my potential because I'm afraid of falling down. Kind of what brought me to champ school.
2, we started with lack of focus, abruptness, repeating mistakes, cold tires, rushing corner entry. Let's add the last 2. I mentioned it to some of you in front of the van, but now we can write it down. Number 6 reason we crash a bike. Nick.
Well, I just rode a R1. I'm jumping on R6. And you know what? It's lunchtime. I think I'll try an R3. And then next thing you know, I fall down riding an R3 before I know it. What happened? We didn't adapt to change. So adapting to change.
Power at your lean angle. We say, oh, Martin, lean over further. I'm brand new. I'm scared to lean over. My tires are cold. It's raining. Well, bring our mile an hour down. So use your brakes another 4 or 5 feet. More body will get you on apex. Okay. Lowest numbers.
Those numbers, the eyes, plan, position, time in the body, and smooth initial, final climb.
Okay, so because you're twisted up on top of the bike, your weight is on your hands, it's tough to be smooth. Must get off. Eyes, you have to get that idea that I've got to look out, get a big picture. When you came into the hairpin, when we were behind you, came into the hairpin looking, get those eyes up, jump those eyes sooner. Remember, we're teaching you, jump your eyes sooner, really soon. And it's okay to scan them back. So don't think you're gonna jump rides, you gotta leave them up there, okay? Move them back and forth more. You gotta get the body from here to there. Most numbers, Paul.
Oh, which ones? Brakes past tip-in, the ones I noticed position.
Body position. Yeah.
Body position.
New for you, right?
It's my wrists too. I'm too tight and squared
Got
up.
let him turn. Good. Brakes past tipping, everybody. So Paul's braking too early, too hard, too early or too hard. Correct? Bike's done braking before he gets the tip in. He has to literally go to the brakes lighter. Same with you. Go to the brakes lighter, so your slowest point is later. You're faster coming.
All right, it's just before lunch and we're getting ready to be filmed again. I've been working a lot on my body positioning, getting my head further out, getting my weight shifted better, paying more attention to, you know, the correct line. There's a lot going on at once, but I find if you focus on one skill at a time, you get a lot better. And in the last session we had, I was going around almost everybody, not saying that to be egotistical, but it's just, you know, if people weren't taking the right line, I could just get around them so easily, even though this is not a race. So one thing they're always reminding us of when we pull the bikes out is that our tires have cooled down. So if you don't respect that, then you're going to crash, because the tires need to be warm to have optimal grip. And as you start riding faster and faster, that becomes more of an issue. Slowest point, apex, imaginary apex is right there. Use all the track. This is a tricky corner right here. And you want to be respectful. You don't just go blowing past people on the corners and stuff. You're not racing, you know. We're not professionals, so you got to be super respectful. So we only pass really on the straights, usually. Only if you can do it safely. People are here to learn. You don't want to freak people out.
And I'll show you the hand position, and I can show you that, and I want y'all to do something that I show these guys. They're going to put to show them the gap between.
Yeah. Come on out.
Yeah, come out for a second. I'll show you. Everybody here? Okay. One of the things that becomes difficult when you're trying to move on the bike is, and when you're trying to understand how to move and not affect the inputs, it all begins with hand position. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my hands on here, gap, right, in the hand. So I'm going to lock my hands in place, and now you feel the gap disappears, okay? Now pull back on that bar, and you see it's locked in place. Okay, now I'm going to relax, right? Relax my hand. The pressure is in this part of your hand. It's much easier to be able to determine how much grip pressure you have and how much pressure you're putting on the bar if you centralize it, right? And it also allows to avoid to do this.
Pretty cool.
Couple stops back in the middle. There's that motion, one all the way to top, and then another. So a lot of those little scoots. Let's make that one move.
Well, that's nice there, but
there's some, body's moving.
Make this a little straighter line, not quite so swoopy. Don't hold lean angle quite so long out of one, everybody. We're just holding lean out of one too long.
Back here, seeing that helmet pointed so far to the left, the helmet needs to start to rotate over to the right as the bike's still going left. Kind of a crossed up feeling, but we need to get really good at that, even on the street.
Just look at the film bike, everybody. That's the fastest, safest line. A lot of us have won races on this racetrack, so this really take it
as many as you.
Thank you, brother. Of course, I've been coming here since '86, so whatever. So, Ian, for your level, that's a fairly large mistake, that late turn in, right? So think about it. I want to turn into the 3B a little bit earlier. Beautiful job on the exit, bud.
I know it's strange for street riders to, to think
all right, we're gonna force you in a little bit earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but in terms of some of these radiuses, again, and what we were saying, how we'd always love for everything to start too soon or too early. Makes it easy to adjust.
Yeah.
These late tip ins, we gotta
Late
flick
there.
the bike in quick.
Yeah, a little late there.
Things
Boy,
get
what a
little-
nice adjustment.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. We saw late turn-ins before yesterday, but this, Ian made the adjustment, left the bike out nice and wide. Really
Last 5% right there.
Two
You
of them,
can
yeah.
see,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
Remember
Jump
we were
out.
talking about that too, Ian, about how soft this thing is, that we gotta be so gentle.
Yeah. Good, beautiful direction.
Head drop.
Yeah. Beautiful job.
Same thing, this turn in for a lot of us is gonna wanna start sooner. So it throws us out here.
Like.
You could say, Ian, you could lighten up that pressure at that same line, lighter brake pressure, and then it's gonna push you out wide right to that slowest point, kind of ideal area.
Good pace, right? Riding the heck out of this bike, and
It's a little bit with body timing right there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick. Just
No, please.
how right here we're pushing it back over high side. Let's get the whole mini squat, whole body and upper body all the way back over right. It's a tiny mistake, but we're having a lot of too many movements with the body where we're scooting around. There it is again, right? Part of it is getting to that shifter. Yeah,
Best
direction
line there.
pointed.
Best line we've seen there, everybody. You see how quickly he catches this rider ahead of him.
Rider head signals.
Yeah.
They're gonna signal before the exit. All I'd like that rider to do is just to hold their line all the way to the far right side. You know, right now, this is that exact scenario, right? Where if Ian mistakenly goes, well, I'm gonna pass him around the outside right here, and then he decides to get off track. Everyone see that?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna get into track days, we're gonna be very predictable when we leave the track, and then we're never gonna pass anyone in that area.
Yeah, good job checking up, Ian. Really good. Really good. Now, two left-handers in a row, you went back to the middle, and you think, well, yeah, I did because I got distracted by the rider ahead of me. This is why we teach it this way. This is why we say never sit in the middle of the seat. When what we really mean is never enter the brake zone in the middle of the seat. So now Ian comes off of a left-hander, there's someone kind of distracting him, so he goes back to the middle, now he loses the front and the next left-hander.
All right, so we did our second film at lunch to kind of review what's going on. The filming is insanely helpful. Now I got to warm up my tires, and we have 30 minutes of lap time to practice on, you know, what we think our biggest challenge is. And then we're going to do more coaching in the classroom. And then I think we get to demo some of the Yamaha bikes after that. All right, let's go.
Yeah, good. So remember, everybody, once they've turned in, that is closed. Once they turn in. Once they turn in, go on the outside, that's fine. Parallel width before they tip in, that's pretty fine. The instructor's out there, this is a chance for us to let her go a little bit, have some fun, enjoy our lives as well. And so if somebody went by you on the same tire as you, it just lets you know, man, I can put more load in this tire. I can put more acceleration load in it. In other words, you're combining throttle and lean angle up to 70 points, when the instructor who passes you was closer to 100 points. Going into the corner, you're combining brake pressure and lean angle up to 55 points, the instructor is closer to 100 points. So that's how you think about it. Rather than think, boy, that someone passed me and not very good, I'm going to quit. You think to yourself, somebody's going quicker than me on relatively the same equipment. That should inspire you to carry more lean angle, et cetera, et cetera. On that session, I don't think I missed an apex, and that's how you start to think about these things. Did I miss an apex, and how many did I miss? And you'll start to see your lap time and doing track days. You just start to lower as you gather apexes. And for y'all that go street riding, I street ride a lot, you miss that direction change, man, it'll put your heart in your throat. It'll really get you. Those are the kind of moments we got to fix with longer brakes, lighter initial throttle, or a little more head drop to get that thing online.
All right, well, this is the last lap of the day. There's a lot of people doing different things on the course. What they were having us do was every time we do a lap in this session, they would give us some other kind of disability. Like, oh, you know, you can't put your left foot on the peg, or your front brake doesn't work, or you can't move your butt off the seat, you can't shift your weight. And so doing those things will kind of teach you to, you know, adapt to different situations. And it's a really good training drill. So that was really cool, but we're about to end the day and probably do the graduation stuff, but oh my God, this has been just absolutely amazing, like truly amazing. And it was perfect. So my 2 days, I just ran out of gas. It keeps telling me low fuel, 18 miles left, so use 5 gallons of gas in 2 days of track riding. See, low fuel. So perfect time to end. Beautiful light this time of day. What an incredible motorcycle, honestly. Everything everybody says good about the GS. And I was doing all this with off-road tires, if you can believe that. I just wonder how good the new GS is going to be if this one's already this incredible. Just a sensational bike, sensationally, incredibly well engineered. It's just hard to believe how much work BMW puts into this thing.
Ian,
yes?
last lap, perfect lap.
Oh, they told me the last one was, they told me I already had my last one. I'm pretty much out of gas, so.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's get you.
I can go, well, I can't go back that way. I can go into the pits that way.
Turn in right there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And that is all the riding that she is going to give us for this weekend. What an incredible 2 days. Absolutely sensational.
Applause for Ken. We'd have trouble doing this school without being able to use this police deal. So thanks very much, Ken. Appreciate it. Also appreciate the coaching. Really, really good stuff. Let's have our senior coaches that had groups. I'd like you all to just kind of end with a little message. And then if you leave your notebooks out, if you have your notebooks, we'll finish things up. Remember, at any time, if you have any questions, just raise your hand. If you have any comments, raise your hand. But we'll finish up with comments from the coaches, and then we'll hand out some graduation certificates. Problems, concerns? We doing all right?
Who wants to watch Cody change? This is what you paid the money for.
Did we get Hunter falling on camera at all?
That's
someone?
That was hilarious. He just disappeared over the wall.
Yeah, I did it. Mine started right after Chris was.
Got some keychains right here at Champ School stickers. These are expensive. This is a feat of engineering. Put them on your bike. If you fall down though, they turn black because we don't want anything to do with it. A graduates only T-shirt.
Ooh.
Right? Cannot buy these. Got to come to the 2-day school. Also, on the back are all of our sponsors. If you go to champschool.com, all these logos, if you just click on a logo, it hyperlinks right to a contact to that brand. All right, Ian, come on up.
Ian.
Yeah. I'm confused.
Nice.
No, you gotta get the hand five.
There you go. Secret. Boom. I really love that though. That's secret.
Awesome. Thank you.
You just have to add a black bar over it, Ian.
Yeah, I saw that in another video.
Big black bar.
Next up, Jared.
Jared. He just even did the leg kick.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate it.
Come on, guys.
Get in here. Oh, yeah. Athletics day.
That's chapstick in my pocket.
The water's cold, okay?
Wow, just wow. That was really an incredible and amazing 2 days of riding. The most impactful 2 days of riding that I've ever had in my entire life, and I've been riding motorcycles since I was a kid. So whether you watched this whole documentary or just skipped around to different parts of it, I hope this really helped convey the value of in-person expert level training. Being able to ride a motorcycle quickly, confidently, and safely actually takes an extremely advanced skill set. I do often wonder if people in our sport received more training like this, maybe we'd actually see our sport expanding instead of declining like it is, and we'd also see possibly less injuries and deaths in the sport. I think we need to be honest that the current state of mandatory or optional motorcycle rider training, not only in the US but around the world, is pretty dismal. I wonder how we could all work together as the motorcycle riding community to help make training like this more accessible to more people. Thank you so much for watching. Ride safe, and I'll see you out there.